Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Kathryn Andrea, and she is going to be directing the upcoming independent film Bloody Poolside. And she's also playing Tasha in Little Red Rosie. And I'm so excited to be seeing these movies. They seem like they're going to be amazing. And I'm so glad that we can have you back for a second time. And how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just got back from this wild road trip across the country.
Yeah, oh my God. I seen the pictures. Looked amazing. The Grand Canyon, everything looked beautiful.
Yeah, it was nuts, especially the painted desert. That was absolutely nuts. I saw petroglyphs, all of it.
Absolutely. As I was telling you, I'll let everybody else know. My office is being a little bit renovated, and we're eventually going to be moving out of this place sooner than later. But I don't have light on this side of the room; it's on that side, and right there's the window, and the lights are going to be going dark, and my ring lights aren't set up in this room, as don't have much room in here. It's such a mess with everything getting packed up and everything. So just so everybody knows, you'll gradually see me going into darkness as the sun goes down. But you were on the show before, so for people that have seen your last interview, it's more of a refresher, or people that haven't
Mhm.
seen your last interview, if they want to get caught up on who you are and how you got into filmmaking, let us know. How did you get your start into being a filmmaker?
So how I got my start was originally inspiration. So first I started doing the documentary, which does come out this summer. So basically it's called Lighting Up the Night. I
Mhm.
ended up pushing it to this summer instead of last summer because by the time we got done wrapping principal photography, the fireflies were like not showing up anymore. And basically my vision for it, so it has a firefly theme. And now if it was like Hollywood or something like that, I might not have control over exactly when it premieres, but
Mhm.
I have a lot more control over when it premieres, when it releases, all of that as an independent filmmaker. So
Mhm.
because of that, I firmly I want the experience to stick with the viewer when they walk into the theater and when they walk out. So I want the fireflies out. So because of that, it's going to be this summer that premieres.
Awesome. That's exciting. I know we last
Yeah.
time I had you on, I believe it was last summer or so, we were
Yep.
talking about this documentary, and that's really exciting. So before we get into Little Red Rosie and Bloody Poolside, just let everybody know where would they be able to see this movie when it releases?
So I'm gonna put it on streaming. I plan to do a premiere. It's gonna be a theater premiere. I'm gonna shoot for Waynesboro Theater. I may shoot for the Alamo, but right now I'm leaning very much toward Waynesboro, or
Okay.
maybe Dinner and a Movie. There's a location in Falls Church that sometimes does that. I haven't opened that conversation with them yet, but I plan to. So any news with that will be released. And then what was it? That should be, yep. I mean it will be probably a month, maybe two, that I
Okay.
should release news for that. So
Awesome. Perfect. So for those that are unaware, what is Bloody Poolside and what is Little Red Rosie? What are they both about?
okay, so Bloody Poolside is going to be a longer answer, definitely. So I'm going to go into Rosie first.
Okay.
Now with Rosie, I can't really say nearly as much yet. But basically Little Red Rosie is about a character named Tasha. So that's my character, and it's also about a character named Calvin. But basically it's about a very, very dysfunctional family that has kind of a lot of problems. There's a lot of tragedy. And there's a killer doll. And part of the tragedy results in the killer doll. But
Mhm.
basically it's gonna leave it's so tragic that I'm trying to think. There's a lot of scary elements that don't even have to do with the doll per se. There's just a lot of complete, drama. Just you're gonna kind of wonder per se if you agree with the doll, with some of the
Okay.
characters the doll kills. So it kind of has
Okay.
that different element to a doll movie than where you'd feel like strictly pretty bad for the victims, like in like let's say Annabelle or Chucky or something like that. You're like, oh, that poor victim, they didn't deserve that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's gonna be different. It's gonna be very good. And this summer, the other big thing is that this summer there are a lot of very very dark movies being filmed because that's something that Rosie and Bloody Poolside have in common. Is some of the subject matter is just like this black void where it's absolutely just like it's gonna be very tragic. So
Okay. Nice.
um, and then I realized so that's the most I can say for Rosie because I'd prefer to let Matt Burns handle a lot of the promo at this time for Rosie
Okay.
until I have that full conversation with him about exactly what I can be sharing. So I gave you a very watered down summary. But for
Okay.
Bloody Poolside, it goes, and I'm doing this with the promo content too. So
Okay.
Bloody Poolside goes from very lighthearted, yay, let's party at the poolside and have a really good time and boo to everybody that's not in our group is kind of the energy that these girls are
Mhm.
going to have. But it's going to get darker and darker and darker as the story goes on to the point where you're going to wonder if there's going to be anything positive in the ending. And that's going to be a very, very good question. Basically, so the other big thing that I'm making sure of in this movie is that the characters are 3D. So while like when I remember when I did the casting for or put out the casting call initially for Mean Girls characters, that's how I described them. But it's not just the ew as if it's not just that. It's not like that 2D, they're just kind of mean.
Right.
There's going to be a reason, an underlying reason why each of them is the way they are.
Okay.
There's going to be that substance, that humanity to everybody, and then there the theme of abuse is going to be very heavy with it.
Okay.
There is a secret in the house that the reject sister of one of the girls discovers because it's a group of 4 girls. The emo into the spiritual, where it's black, listens to metal, ew, sister of one of them that their mom made him bring is gonna discover something in the house, and girls are gonna basically start dying off. It's effectively a psychological survival horror, and that's
Okay.
how I plan to add something. I love a good old basic chop 'em up slasher, but I want to do something different. So
Yeah, there's a lot of slashers out there. So like doing something different makes more eyes come on to you because like there's not a
yeah,
lot going on with that part of the genre. So why don't that might be something different that I can sink my teeth into and watch, you know?
yeah. Because that's my plan, and I've been very very careful about how I go about things. Like even like the process of writing, the process of casting. I was ridiculously picky with casting, and I learned it sort of like after, so it was like kind of awkward. And if this actress watches this, she's gonna get kicked because she's gonna remember that conversation with me. But I yeah, because I got mostly done casting the core group of girls.
But
And the casting process that I did is they have to provide headshots, resumes, and reels. They have to send me their professional package. I reviewed it. My casting decision was mostly made by the reel. So usually it was basically like a 99% yes by the time I contacted them at all. But I hit them up and I told them, hey, here's a portion of the script. I want to do a Zoom call with you. We're gonna meet each other, break the ice. We're gonna do a little quick read through. Effectively, what it was, and I kind of like I don't even know how I didn't realize it when I told them that is it is a cold read through Zoom, and that is just one of the most savage and just most intense, like especially for someone that doesn't know me. I'm like the big scary director being like, we're gonna do a Zoom call and you're gonna read from a script that I haven't given you time to memorize. It's a
right.
very intense casting process, and when this girl I was on a shoot with told me, "You made them do a cold read through Zoom," I was like, but I
Yeah,
passed them. It
but
worked out.
that's how you get like the good cast, involved because there's two things that I think of. There could be more, but there's two things definitely that I think of that takes me out of a movie. It's bad
Yeah,
acting and bad audio, whether it's music, background sound, Those two things really take me out of it. Like, I could deal with the occasional Easter egg of, wait, they just moved shift positions randomly between scenes. I could deal with that, but bad acting takes me out of it, and so does bad audio.
Yeah, because I made sure to prioritize, so the two big things I made sure to prioritize upon the planning out of like the basics of this movie
Yep.
was very, very good or like well thought out storyline, to try to avoid, giant plot holes. And then the cast, I was like, let me put a very big emphasis on the acting, because like I've heard some suggestions over actors I should bring in, and like, because I know, and it's like there's very good actors that have been suggested to me and stuff, but like I kind of like know it when I see them, like for
Right.
who needs to have this particular role. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something in the reel. Sometimes it's with the headshot, but it actually taught me a lot as an actor myself. It taught me kind of what casting directors are looking for, just like my own pickiness with casting, because it's like such qualified people, and the group of actresses that applied for those roles, that was not easy. Like I'm so lucky I have two actresses that have bachelor's degrees in acting, and they are troopers. um I almost don't know if I can trust them, and when I say that I'm joking, but I almost don't know if I can trust them, because you can see just how quickly those tears well up in those eyes when they're about to start crying in their reel. I'm like, this is going to be a very good story. This is going to be good. So
Nice. And
yeah,
that's a lot of people think, oh, it's easy to think of something, to make you cry. All you need to do is either get eye drops or think of like a tragic part of your past, and that's part of it. But
yeah,
a good actress and a good actor, they can make it not like right away. They can immediately cry. They don't have to wait, 5 minutes until they can get it up and then be like, okay, I'm ready, go. They could
yeah,
do it right on cue.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah. Because
absolutely.
there's that, and I learned recently as well. Actually, recently when I was in LA, I learned some of the tricks to crying. So it's still something I'm still practicing, because that's definitely a huge challenge for me as an actor, since I am dissociative, personally, with how I handle trauma. So I cannot work with personal experiences or anything that reminds me of personal experiences. I have to work off of fictional circumstances
Yeah.
in order to actually produce tears.
Yeah.
But basically, I learned that sometimes you have to do a lot of work the night before a shoot. You
Mhm.
have to basically bring up those feelings where you wake up the next morning and you're still a little bit sad. And when you get to set, you're able to cry.
Yeah.
And that you're likely limited to only so many amount of tears. Like some Hollywood actors, they deal with it. You're limited to so many tears,
Yeah.
to the point where what was it? um you're limited to only a couple of tiers, to the point where if you are helping feed energy to another actor, like if the camera is not on you, it's on somebody else,
Hmm.
you specifically do not want to cry for that. You don't want to produce any tears, because it will dry up on you, and
Yeah.
then you'll be like,
Yep.
so
Absolutely. So speaking of Little Red Rosie, because I know you wanted Matt Burns to discuss a lot of this with, do a lot of the promotion for this. I don't know if you can answer these two questions. But the one I
yeah,
have is the doll of Rosie. I think it's freakingly adorable. Like it's
yeah.
scarily adorable, if that makes sense. How was this concept created to get this to make Rosie look like that?
So basically what happened, and this is something that is something that will be known to the public, so I can tell you this.
Okay.
Is Matt basically was just hanging out in his free time, and he went to a flea market, and he saw that doll, and it struck inspiration in him.
Nice.
And he picked up that doll, and that's actually part of the basis for the script being written. So
Nice.
it kind of worked out like that. When you say how adorable that doll is, like creepy cute, I 100% agree with you. When we have been on set, I will throw you this, is when we have been on set, Rosie does this adorable little bounce as she goes to kill people.
Oh
Like the
my
camera, like if we go to do like a GoPro shot of her POV, it's all sometimes you
Nice.
see her little hair be like, as
Nice.
she holds a knife in her hand. It's gonna be just so adorable, like watching her, well, kill people.
Yeah, that's the thing about us horror people. Like, we can sit in a McDonald's and be like, "How are we gonna kill so and so today?" And everybody's gonna look at us like we're insane and crazy.
Yeah.
That happened to me before in meetings, with with like Carl and everything. Like, we would sit at McDonald's and have a meeting, and we'd be like, "So, do we want to slit somebody's throat? To like, are we gonna slit their throat, or are we gonna behead them, or are we just gonna beat them with a hammer?" And the old people at McDonald's drinking like the coffee, and Carl's like, we're making a movie. We're not really gonna slit somebody's throat or beat them with a hammer."
Yeah, because that actually happened pretty recently. Actually, I was on a phone call with somebody attached to Rosie, and we were
Mhm.
discussing Rosie, and we were discussing some of the kill scenes and stuff like that. While I was on set, actually, just the other day for a film that is a romantic comedy.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, yeah, so there's gonna be this to I don't know wedge into this person's body part. I'm not gonna say what body part because it's a
Right.
spoiler. But, I'm just like talking like that, and then someone's going past being like,
Girl, are you real? Are you for real right now? Oh my god, that is so funny. So what do you for Bloody Poolside? What do you see the biggest challenge of getting this movie made, filming wise, production wise?
the biggest challenge is going to easily be I picked so when I did my casting in it, I was okay because I am a sucker for Atlanta. I love
Right.
Atlanta and I love networking because
Mhm.
like even with this road trip where I went and I went to some sets across the country and I met a lot of people and stuff like that. I love to network with people that aren't from here. I feel it
Yep.
expands my world. It expands my perimeters of my reach,
Right.
opportunities 100%. So basically I was just like, well, because when I was casting for the girls for Bloody Poolside, I was like, well, I can't go to Atlanta. So like right now, like I had stuff going on.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I can't go to Atlanta right now. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Atlanta come to me. So
Yeah.
I factored that in with the casting. The downside with that is there have been times where people have run into basically fatal to the film problems that come from bringing in a lot of out of town talent, which
Mhm.
is why especially in the industry, even big sets, it is becoming a standard of just hire people that are local because of
Yeah.
some of the problems that can happen. So basically I just made sure very much so because I was like, I know that this is a way that some people can mess up, so how can I do this in a way that's smart and that results in a film? Because like for the most part, like I'll expand my budget a little bit, I guess. Once I launch the Indiegogo, some extra funds, like I can make some scenes a little bit wilder or whatnot. And there's a lot of good that can come. And I know that some people they just like to invest, they like to be part of something, and I want to
Yeah.
allow that possibility.
Yeah.
But basically, what was it? Uh, my thing that I was thinking is ultimately I am investing a lot of my money out of
Yeah.
my pocket, that money I
Mhm.
earn into this project. So I'm not just going to throw that down the drain. I am going to make sure I invest wisely, that I cast wisely, that I bring
Yeah.
on good people. If there are good people, or if there are people that are not good people, and I find out, I will
Mhm.
deal with it.
Yeah.
But basically, I cast professionals. So Angel Bradford, that is a solid actress. And even after casting her, and I hope she watches this. After casting her, I have seen very quickly why so many people cast her. She is absolutely an
Yeah.
asset to the set. If a fire needs to be put out, she puts on her little firefighter hat, and she
Mhm.
she she will absolutely be there. She wants to see the ND film get made
Yes.
on whatever set she's on. She wants to see that come out
Absolutely.
and release. So
Absolutely. We were going to have Angel Bradford for 72, but because of situations under that was out of her control, she wasn't
yeah,
able to do it. She was very disappointed, very apologetic. Like,
yeah,
she's such an amazing person. And Angel, if you're watching this, I will be reaching out for you for an interview. I only have till August, so we got to make it happen because I'm going back on hiatus when I start my second semester of grad school. But but I definitely want to have you back on. I'll discuss with
yeah,
her Bloody Poolside, everything else she's been involved in. But
yeah.
yeah, she's an amazing talent, like amazing.
And I'd like to get some of the girls for my project. I'd like to try to get them on here, so I'll definitely refer them your way for
Yeah, absolutely.
their
Please
future
do.
touch base. But basically, I cast professionals. I cast Angel Bradford. I cast Christina Santiago from New York.
Okay.
She's basically she is in some people might agree, some people might not, but I fully believe this. She is the equivalent, or she is the Angel Bradford of New York.
Okay.
Angel Bradford comes from the South. Christina Santiago comes from the North. Both great
Yeah.
talent, both very valuable on a set. I brought in girls with college degrees that they know their stuff. When you see their reel, you're like, oh my gosh, this girl knows what she's doing.
Right.
I am bringing some good talent in,
Yeah.
and I am very lucky to have them on board.
Yeah.
And the way that I'm solving the issue before it pops up, as horrible as it sounds, of bringing in a lot of out of town talent,
Mhm.
is killing some of the out of towners first.
Yeah.
So what one of them dies a little quicker, one of them dies a little quicker after her. Like
Yep.
there's an order to it.
Yep.
And basically the death scenes were strategic. So
Yeah.
and I mean that with love.
Absolutely.
I'm making sure they die very nicely. So
Absolutely. Yeah. When we brought in out of towners from 72, we had one specific day that the out of towners, if they were all free that day, that was the day they all came in. We filmed only their scenes that day. And we made sure that we got everything
yeah.
we needed to get with them. So we didn't have to bring them back. And then we did. We had people like Chris Ridings coming in. We had
Yeah.
Daniel Lund. We had people like from out of town that came in. And I mean, we made sure that we were able to get them that day, like all their content in, because people don't realize that costs money. Now with 72, we had a decent Indiegogo, but with our first movie, Samhain, that was like what you're doing with Bloody Poolside. Everything came out of my
Yeah.
paychecks, and
Yeah.
it's real. And if you waste that money on petty things and not important things, it shows in the production value.
Oh yeah.
It does, and that's why you spending it on great, talented actors and actresses from out of town. If they can put on
Yeah.
an amazing performance, that's going to bring so much value to the production value.
Oh yeah, yeah, because this is going to tug at your heartstrings. Like
Yeah.
everybody who watches, and that's something that I made sure of in the script. After the first scene, the audience is going to be like, "Hello, movie." Like that was
Right.
okay, And then
Nice.
by the end, I was actually advised, and this is very good advice. I was advised to just like not even have any little like scenes in the credits,
Right.
to just have it just black, have it silent with no music,
Yeah.
just because the end will just shake you. Like
Yeah.
it
Totally.
it it's intense. Like it's gonna be it's gonna be one hell of a movie. So
Awesome. So, are you planning on an Indiegogo for this movie?
yes, so I am planning on an Indiegogo. So I am prepared to pay for it all out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
The most expensive weekend, easily by a long shot, is in about 2 weeks. So
Okay.
I'm basically have my pennies pinched. If you say, "Hey, Kathryn, want to go get ice cream?" The answer is no for about 2 weeks. Because I have to pinch these pennies. I have to invest this wisely. But
Yeah.
basically, the thing I realized is that so there's a scene, and this is actually really funny. So there is a scene where and I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm going to tell you so you
Okay.
know. There's a scene where a character floats into the air and dies with the neck snap,
Okay.
currently in the script. And
Cool.
then I was advised, I was shooting the, I don't know if you're going to bleep it, so I'll try not to cuss. I was,
Right.
um yeah, here's me trying not to cuss. But I was joking around with one of my friends, and they said something about how about you have this character's head turn 360 degrees and then her jaw rip off. I'm like, yes. If I can get the funding, yes, because the neck snap, like, that's easy to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But twisting a head 360 degrees, if I do that, I want to do that realistically, but that
Yeah.
takes extra special effects funding,
Yeah.
which I think the neck snap would be would add a whole lot of effect. I think it would still be a very solid movie with that neck snap, with the circumstances of that neck snap.
Okay.
But it would be nice to rub it in a little bit harder and break your hearts just that much more. So
Yeah.
I'm all for it if we can get the funding.
I love a movie or a series that makes you feel like they're family and they say, these are your family now, and then they just take them away from you.
Yep.
One of them, one series that I don't get like that a lot with movies. I really have to be invested, but one TV series that did that to me was How to Get Away with Murder.
Ooh, yeah. Cause
The end of that.
I need to watch that. I haven't seen that.
Okay, that's on Netflix. It's a great series. Viola Davis is the star, and that I won't spoil anything then, but that ending, like it stuck with me. And that acting in that entire show from start to finish, it strings you along. And they tackle so many controversial topics that should be talked about, whether it's in a courtroom fashion or in their personal lives, whether it be homosexuality and one of the partners having HIV before they met, and how they
Yeah.
tackle like balancing a relationship with an STD. And then on top of that, they talk about like child concentration camps, like racism. They tackle so many beautiful ways. They tackle these very controversial and topics that you try to stay away from because they lead to really
Yeah.
bad debates, and they do it
Yeah.
beautifully and they make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a
Yeah,
show I
because
recommend. Yeah,
yeah, because that definitely sounds like something I'd like to watch now because like I've
yeah,
noticed that's one of the themes about some of these movies that are coming out. Or
yeah.
one of the things is that there's a lot of movies where indie filmmakers,
Mhm.
Matt, myself, like we are just like, how about we stretch the boundaries a little bit? How about
Yeah,
we cover some of this controversial content that people don't really talk about? Like there is some ridiculously dark stuff. We are going to touch on so in Bloody Poolside, and I am not going to talk about anything to do like I'm not going to give you any sort of spoilers the best I
right.
can, but we are going to touch on abuse to the handicapped.
Wow.
So I'm not going to say the circumstances of that. That is very dark. That is not something that's usually talked about in movies, but we're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And if you think about it, Friday the 13th Part 2 killed a guy in a wheelchair. That at the time was very crazy. Like nobody expected that.
yeah,
So the fact that now we're in a year, all these years later, decades later, that's still a controversial topic to talk about. So having something that dark in a movie, it brings something new to the movie. It brings new freshness, and it's entertainment value. So
yeah,
somebody not really handicapped being killed, but it brings the new freshness and balance to a movie that a lot of people don't see.
yeah,
And
yeah. So,
I love
so
new topics in a movie. I love new topics
yeah,
that haven't been explored. Like that's why when we did Samhain, I killed somebody by drowning them in a bowl of cereal
I
because
like
you
that.
don't see that, and then it spelled the main
Yeah,
character's name on the forehead in alphabet cereal.
I
It was
like that.
yeah, it was new, and a lot of people said that death wasn't brutal. There wasn't blood, but it was unique. It was creative, and that's what I love
Cause
in a movie. I want to see creativity.
yeah, cause that stuff is good. And wait until you see some of the stuff
I
that
can't
comes in
wait.
Bloody Poolside, and I want to see that too. Like the serial, that's a good death. That is literally a serial killer. So I
Right,
like that.
yeah, exactly. And the funny story about that is the serial we used was from when we were going to make it this movie was originally supposed to be a TV series that like a web series, and the serial was from the previous year, and it was stale beyond belief. So she didn't eat it at all, but she was like playing around with it till she got killed. But
Yeah.
we didn't know he was going to do this. But the Brett Harris, who plays our killer, he took a handful of the cereal. He knew it was stale. He didn't know it was that stale, but he knew it was stale, and he put it in. He almost choked on it because it was that bad. And you can hear he's like, "That's some killer cereal." So
Like that.
it's just a clever play with the words, So I'm really excited to see Bloody Poolside, though. I'm really excited to see that. I'm really excited to see Little Red Rosie. When I know you guys, I don't think you have filmed them yet, but when can we expect roughly an estimated release year? Do you have any ideas?
Um, Little Red Rosie, that's not mine to say. So I until Matt says that,
Okay.
that will wait on that.
Okay.
Bloody Poolside, I'm not gonna have an idea yet.
Okay.
So basically, the big thing is after these scenes that are being shot at the end of this month, after that, I'm basically like, so the actors are going to be on a little bit of a break. It's probably not going to be a very long break. It's probably going to be like a month or two. But basically, I have to bring Angel Bradford back.
Hmm.
So she is going to with her schedule, that's probably going to take a couple months. So
Okay.
I'm going to be basically gauging her availability and gauging the availability of the other actors and stuff, and being like, okay, here's where when we're going to schedule this. And then there is going to be a scene that takes place that is depicted in a hospice,
Okay.
and that is going to be my happy. I am referring to it lovingly as Kathryn's creepy hospice, and it's going to be
There you go.
nuts. And there is a woman who I know. She is a very very happy backgrounder. I've met her. She is just the happiest lady. She survived cancer.
Okay.
Um, she wears a wig, and she is just so happy because she survived cancer. And I mean, I feel like
Right.
that would be something to be very happy about. And
Absolutely.
one of the things she's very happy about is to come out to my set and take her wig off. And she told me, she said, I am going to show you. I would like my scars to be seen on camera. So I'm like, okay. So she's gonna come out for that. It is looking like I will be getting Monique Dupree out for the hospice scene.
Okay.
There's gonna be, and then if I get the funding, because this is gonna be something dependent on the Indiegogo. So
Hmm.
it's gonna be very, very nuts either way, and extremely dark, convoluted,
Yeah.
just nasty, like no good
Right.
energy everywhere. But if I get the funding, I want to get a whole bunch of extras in, like basically
Yeah.
anybody that's available. I'm gonna get like a bunch of bodies in there, so I'm gonna like depict anxiety on screen,
Nice.
um, and like the feeling of being watched. And I'm gonna do that by, if I can, with the funding, by getting bodies in black suits, like those green suits, a
Yeah.
black version of that, to have shadow figures entirely around the room.
Right.
So it's gonna be
Nice.
nuts, and the way I'm envisioning it in my head, it's gonna be very creepy. It's just gonna be black masses just all over the place to the point where
Right.
you can't see 2 feet in front of you, and
Yeah.
it's just gonna be nuts. So I'm hoping for that. I think that would be pretty good.
Absolutely. That would be amazing. So the last question I do got for you, do you have anything else, social media, websites, other projects, anything at all that you would like to promote to the listening and viewing audience?
Anything at all I would like to promote? Oh, I'm gonna do this now since I am on the Zoom today, and since I guess
Yeah.
this episode will come out relatively quickly,
Yeah.
like it's safe to say within a week.
Yeah. Definitely,
Um,
probably,
there,
definitely no later than tomorrow.
yeah, yeah, because I'm just like in case something happens and you like basically die today and you pop
Right.
back up in a week, so the safety. So don't die, no dying, Scotty.
No
But
dying until it's
basically,
uploaded.
um I was the AC on a project that is winning a lot of awards and is going to be seen in Awesome Con. It is going to have a screening.
Oh,
It is called The Strangle of Ivy. It is a female director. It is a gothic horror film,
okay.
or short gothic horror film. And the trailer, if I recall correctly, I think they released a trailer, but look for that. Look up The Strangle of Ivy and consider viewing that at the screening at
Awesome.
AwesomeCon. It is a very good concept. It's new. It brings something new to the table that you don't see every day. The cinematography, the acting is great. The whole team did a very good job. So I think
Nice.
that is worth putting on everybody's radar as well.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, and then obviously you have an IMDb, so if any projects you have coming up in the future or currently going on, they can look at your IMDb, check that out, see what Kathryn is involved in. Thank you so much, Kathryn, for joining me, especially after a long trek across country.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I just got back. Like my hair is still in a messy braid. Like yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad you made it happen. Before I let you go, to let everybody know that if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to share, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. If you're listening on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the podcasting platforms, be sure to rate, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you have to do on there. Go ahead.
Ooh, Scotty, I realized something as well.
What?
there's one thing we should do before we let our viewers go.
Okay, what?
When we went to do this interview, there was one topic or one question you don't normally ask that I want to go into real quick.
Okay.
If anybody faces adversity,
There you go.
faces online bullying, lies, rumors, gossip, just nasty backstabbing happening behind their back,
Yep.
do your job. That is my biggest advice I have to people who are dealing with that, because that can be
Yeah.
very, very intense. If someone cyberbullies or tries to smear you, smear your name, smear your projects, anything like that, that is something that can cause people to be very, very depressed. That can
Yes.
do some legit negative feelings. It is
Absolutely.
not acceptable behavior. But if anybody deals with anything like that, the thing that I did and that worked out,
Yep.
is your job. So focus on your
Absolutely.
craft. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Exactly. And to let everybody also know, I am on Cameo. So if you want, the Father's Day is coming up. If you
yep.
want, when is Father's Day? I don't even know when Father's Day is. My
This
dad
is
passed
bad,
away,
but I
so
don't
I,
quite
I
know.
haven't been keeping up with that. I'm trying to forget it.
Yeah,
But Father's Day is coming up, birthdays, anniversaries. If you're in a relationship and the relationship isn't going the way you want, but you're afraid to break it off, just let me know and I'll do it for you.
I love it. I love it.
How about that? I got my Funko Pop, my Slashes. I don't know if you can see it. Slashes Scotty Funko Pop. So you can check that out. It'll be coming out in stores relatively soon, I'm hoping. I'm waiting to hear back from the manufacturer. And then of course, you can what else? I have my book, The Ultimate Halloween Movie Experience. I don't know if I have it anywhere around here. I don't know where it is, but I have my Halloween movie experience forward by Jamie Lee Curtis, 18 original interviews, thousands of trivia questions. So pick that up at Target, Barnes and Noble, anywhere books are sold, Amazon, whatever. But again, thank you, Kathryn, so much for joining me.
Yay. See ya.
Absolutely. We'll definitely do it again.
Yep.
Right. You have a great rest of your night.
You too. The next time I need someone or I need a middle finger thrown up, I will be going on your Cameo and I will be booking you for that.
There you go. I would love to do it. All right. Talk to you later. And rest.
Oh yeah, I need a nap.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.